I wanted to talk to you today and spend some time briefly discussing a topic that's certainly very important right now in the world, and also with our customers. Um, Between the pandemic, social unrest, natural disasters, and especially high unemployment over the last year or so, there's been a tremendous demand and stress on charities to get donors to step up and give. And if you look at statistics over the last year, a lot of donors and people across the nation, around the world, have stepped up. I'm asked all the time, and it seems to be a more frequent conversation nowadays with the demands on donors, that where do I give and how do I get started? Um, and I've tried to advise people over the years and come up with what I think is a fairly simple 5-step approach to charitable giving that hopefully will be helpful for me to share with you today. The first is really sitting down and prioritizing your giving. Take a look at what causes and issues are most important to you and your family and your own personal experiences or challenges that you have been through. And then you have to decide also how you want to give that gift, where, locally, nationally, globally, or a combination of those types of things. And once you have that priority established, secondly, you need to choose the actual charity or charities that you're giving to. And it's a difficult task, to say the least. There are thousands of charities out there, and charities approach causes or issues in different ways. And there's really no right or wrong answer, but what I tell people is do your research, do your due diligence on the charities you're looking at. There are many online resources available to donors nowadays to look at a charity's mission and their programming and how they're spending their money. The charity's own website oftentimes is a good resource for you to dig into and look at. And then I also advise people talk directly to those within the charity, maybe running that program or the management of that particular charity, as well as maybe other donors you're aware of or in your circle of friends that may have their own personal experience with that particular charity. Once you've chosen the charity, then consider your options for giving. You can either give your money or your time through volunteering. Obviously, with the pandemic over the last year or so, volunteering has been very restrictive or almost non-existent. So it's an easy way oftentimes for people just to give money. And the easiest form of that is cash, direct cash gifts to a charity. However, most all charities I'm aware of nowadays will accept and are taking non-cash type gifts, such as stocks, bonds, certain types of real estate, things of that nature. And oftentimes these are assets that you or your family may hold that you've held for a long period of time that have a lot of built-in appreciation in that particular security. This may be a more tax efficient way for you to do your gifting without limiting or affecting your liquidity. It may be both not only an income tax efficient way to give that asset, but also from an estate tax perspective. With the talk of higher capital gains taxes in the near future and higher estate taxes, this oftentimes may be a way for you to consider giving a more tax efficient gift. The fourth thing, as I always tell people, is plan your gift. Sit down with your team of advisors, your financial and tax advisors, such as your CPA, attorney, and specifically us here as First Source as your trust administrator or investment advisor. We can help you with the type of giving and also the timing of that gift to help you maximize your benefit. The last thing is really do something. I tell people all the time, don't get caught up necessarily in some of the minutia, but there's no such thing as a perfect gift to the perfect charity. Start doing something today and make an impact. Now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague Justin Cohey, who's an assistant vice president attorney in our family office, to talk to you specifically about a tool that we're providing our customers through our donor advice fund service, which really is assisting families and donors in their charitable giving strategy and mission. Justin?
Thank you, Kurt. As many of you know, and as Kurt mentioned, 2020 was, and the beginning of 21 has proven to be difficult for many individuals as well as charitable organizations. In order to help some of our clients, last year we introduced our Donor Advised Fund program. So I'd like to spend a little bit of time just explaining how a donor advised fund works. Now, you as the donor would work with us to establish and name your account. And then you make an irrevocable gift of either cash or appreciated securities to fund that account. As was mentioned before, if you do so with appreciated securities, you avoid any capital gains. But any type of gift will garner you an immediate income tax deduction, as well as get the assets out of your name for estate tax purposes. Now, some people get nervous that when they hear the word irrevocable and believe that that means that they are relinquishing control, but that is not the case here. With the Donor Advised Fund, you are named as the grant advisor, and you are able to work with Paul and his group to recommend investments, and you will be able to determine what grants are made to what organization and how much. It's really entirely up to you. And because you are able to name your successor grant advisors, you are able to pass along that charitable legacy that you have started.